We here at the Sports History Network proudly partner with 26 podcasts, all revolving around the history of sports. But did you know that many of our hosts were sports history authors way before they started their shows? It's true. We've got Joe Ziemba, host of When Football Was Football, Joe Zagurski, host of Pro Football in the 1970s, Mark Morthier, host of Yesterday's Sports, Tommy Phillips, host of Lombardi Memories, and Scott Adamson, co-host of From the 55-Yard Line. All these authors have many books for you to choose from. To check them out, go to our website at sportshistorynetwork.com/sportshistorybooks. Pick up your copy today. Soundtrack provided by Kevin MacLeod of filmmusic.io.
In this part number 51 of the Football History Rewind, we discuss the 1922 season of football at both the collegiate and the professional levels, as well as many more legendary stories. It's all coming up with the champions of each in a moment.
This is the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, a podcast that covers the anniversaries of American football events throughout history on a day-to-day basis. Your host, Darren Hayes, is podcasting from America's North Shore to bring you the memories of the gridiron, one day at a time. So as we come out of the tunnel of the Sports History Network, let's take the field and go no huddle through the portal of positive gridiron history with pigskindispatch.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of the PigskinDispatch.com. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your portal of positive football history. And we're going to go into our football history rewind mode. Part number 51, we are in the 1922 season, just like we talked about in episode 50. But we're going to get a little bit more into the champions and the great teams of the games. Get out of the rules a little bit. According to the tiptopnumber25.com, 1922's game of the season was Princeton at Chicago. It was the first game to be nationally broadcast on radio, and it was considered then and for decades afterwards as one of the greatest football games that had ever been played. The Chicago Maroons of Amos Alonzo Stagg were up 18-7 and driving towards another late score. Looked like they had the game well under control until they fumbled and Princeton recovered the loose ball. The Tigers then rallied for two late touchdowns in an improbable 21-18 victory, and Princeton wins that game. The game was immortalized by the leading gridiron scribe of the day, Grantland Rice, who was there covering the game, and he dubbed it Princeton as the Team of Destiny, unquote. That name stuck, and the phrase has now become common for any team in an extremely common term that improbably wins a close game after a close game. Princeton struggled to win all but two of its games, but when the dust had cleared, they stood at 8-0 against the toughest schedule played in any of the season's contenders. It was for these reasons that the college football researchers chose the Tigers as the champions years later, while Park H. Davis in the National Championship Foundation also selected them as a co-champion. Now, Davis's other choice was the 8-0 Cornell Big Red, as the Helms Foundation agreed with him, and the National Championship Group picked California as their other title bearer for 1922 to go along with Princeton. Now, personally, I think Princeton has the edge here by today's standards, as Tip Top 25 ranks the top 25 for the season that they may have played if they would have had rankings back there, and they have the Tigers beating number 25 Colgate in Week 3 by the tune of 10-0. Chicago was the 8th ranked team in the nation when they beat them, and we already discussed that was 21-18. And the seasons was closed by consecutive wins over the rivals of Princeton, number 9 Harvard and number 10 Yale. And I would say that's a pretty strong schedule in any era, but you're beating 4 top 25 teams to go undefeated. You definitely earned that spot. Now, some All-Americans in the year of 1922. The only selector recognized by the NCAA as the official selector for the 1922 season was Walter Camp, whose selections were published in Collier's Weekly. Camp chose the following individuals as his official 1922 All-American selections. Gordon Locke, quarterback from Iowa; Eddie Kaw, halfback from Cornell; Herb Treat, a tackle from Princeton; Harry Kipke, the halfback from Michigan; Paul G. Goebel, the end from Michigan; Harold Muller, the end from California, Frank Schwab, a guard from Lafayette, George Owen, a halfback from Harvard, Mike Geelan, the tackle from Brown University, Howdy Gray, end from Princeton, Edgar Garbish, a center from Army, Fritz Breedster, a guard from Army, Charles Buell, a quarterback from Harvard, and John Webster Thomas, a fullback from Chicago, Paul Minnick, the guard from Iowa, Charles Hubbard, a guard from Harvard, Wendell Taylor, end from Navy, and John Thurman, a tackle from Penn. Now, these were not consensus All-Americans, as there was only camp, like we said, is the only official body of work be considered to be an All-American. But we'll see next year, in 1923, where they start to have a consensus All-American because they're having a couple of official different lists. Walter Camp in an additional one as well. But go to the NFL of 1922 because it's the first time in history we can officially list a champion of the National Football League. Because on June 24th, 1922, there was an event where the American Professional Football Association, otherwise known as the APFA, officially renamed itself the National Football League. It's been like that for the next 100 years and it's still going strong. The league would soon go on to be offering franchises to many interested cities as they expanded the reach of pro football. The possibilities of cities of Chicago and Cleveland could each have two franchises was eminent as multiple teams were forming and joining the new NFL. Each franchise was asked to pony up $1,000 to guarantee that they would follow the league's rules, including playing college players while they were still affiliated with the school. The first offense was a $500 fine, and the second offense was expulsion from the NFL. Now, the Canton Bulldogs were eventually crowned as the 1922 NFL champions as they posted a strong 10-0-2 record. Remember, there was no championship game back at this time. Player coach Guy Chamberlain had his team humming on all cylinders. Their ties were against a very strong Dayton Triangle squad, as well as the upstart Toledo Maroons. In week number 5, they narrowly escaped with a 7-6 victory over the Chicago Bears, and a couple of weeks later, a big win over the Buffalo All-Americans, 3-0. An end of the season rematch with the Maroons showed the might of the Bulldogs as they blanked Toledo on the road 14-0 to solidify their claim to the crown. Remember, it was the best overall record in the NFL. That's who would be claimed as champion and crowned as champion by a late meeting after season's end at some point. Now, also on that title team of 1922 for Canton with Chamberlain was Pete Henry, Link Lyman, Tarzan Taylor, Doc Elliott, and Jim Kendrick. Truly some great players from yesteryear back in the 1920s. And we have some great photos of the Canton Bulldogs of the 1922 season and Guy Chamberlain's team. Truly some great individuals and Hall of Famers on that squad as well. Chamberlain is himself. Link Lyman is, in fact, on that list. And Pete Henry is also a Hall of Famer on that list. So glad that you joined us here for this little bit of football history. Hope you'll join us tomorrow and every day for more and more great football history. Also check us out on the sportshistorynetwork.com where us and 25, 26 other podcasters are bringing a great sports history to just fill your ears and fill your days of putting those headsets on and have some great downloads to listen to, and you get to learn something, and you'll look real smart at the water cooler when you can requote some of these great events that's happened and talk about. Spread the news about us, Sports History Network, and our Sports Jersey Dispatch podcast at jerseydispatch.com. Till tomorrow, everybody, have a great gridiron day. Peeking up at the clock, the time's running down. We're going to go into victory formation, take a knee, and let this baby run out. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back tomorrow for the next podcast. We invite you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskindispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. A special thanks to the talents of Mike and Jean Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
It was just another ordinary day in the offices of the Pittsburgh Guardian newspaper circa 1924. But for Marla Delft, assistant editor, everything was about to change. For she was about to discover the awesome attractiveness of Row 1 brand retro sports paraphernalia items thanks to Orville Mulligan, sports writer.
And there it is.
Wow, Orville, that's really the bee's knees.
Isn't it just? A poster-sized replica of the actual 1909 World Series program cover.
I can see that. But where did you get it? And where'd you get it framed?
I ordered it from the Row 1 website, where over 6,000 items of sports memorabilia from the 1880s to the 1990s are available for reproduction, in multiple sizes and in several different materials, with over a dozen styles of frame to choose from for prints like this.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Delft would love to put up more of these in the office. But I'm equally as sure they're beyond this newspaper's budget.
Not at all, my dear Marla. See for yourself. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com/row1.
sportshistorynetwork.com/row1. Oh my, these are good prices. Oh, and look at this stuff. Oklahoma-Nebraska football, college basketball art, Michael Jordan items.
And so it
retro
was that
sports
Marla Delft
advertisement
discovered the
clapboard.
splendiferous magic of Row 1 sports memorabilia, arts, and prints. You can too by visiting sportshistorynetwork.com/row1. That's ROW1 today for access to the full Row 1 catalog of gallery prints and gifts like t-shirts, long-sleeve shirts, telephone cases, coffee mugs, blankets, pillows, towels, and even shower curtains. Act today for 15% discount off all prints with coupon code SHN15 and 20% off all other items with coupon code SHN20 at checkout. And keep your dial locked to the Sports History Network for the exciting chronicles of the 1920 sports world in Orville Mulligan, sports writer. Coming soon.